So you put your doubts aside, and then you eventually came back to them, and eventually they. What was it like? Did you feel like you got overwhelmed by doubts, or did you feel like a sense of satisfaction and relief that now you had it? Like, what was that emotional like experience?
Oh man, that was a journey. So, um, well, at first I was when I had doubts and I was kind of quiet about them. I had experiences where it really made me think. Is this too far? Like, are my doubts legitimate? Like, for example, one time I just opened the door for a guy holding a case of beer, just to be nice. People are polite. I was being polite, and then in my own head, it was just self-policing. Like, did you just do a haram thing? You facilitated him to have a drink, right? And then this is the kind of thing that Muslims sometimes do. They would go searching for a fatwa or go ask a sheikh about this very inconsequential thing. Is it haram or halal? So I asked my parents, and they were like, yeah, that's not good. Don't do that again. But then I thought about it. I'm like, okay, so I'm face to face with this guy, and I'm just like, screw you. I'm not going to open the door for you because I shouldn't be drinking alcohol. Like, it just. So I just started slowly and slowly doing like things outside of my comfort zone that were slightly haram, but not immoral in any way. Like, for example, having female friends in a very platonic way. It's not really the most halal thing, especially if you're just with one friend or two friends and there's not enough mahram around. So um, eventually I got to a point where I was living a bit of a double life where I I stopped practicing because of that, because I felt like a munafiq, like a hypocrite. And we know what God says about hypocrites. It's very, very bad. It's maybe even worse than Muslims who don't pray,
Yeah.
or
Oh,
depend.
definitely worse. Muslims that don't play the worst of the hellfire, the worst than disbelievers.
Yeah. And I know the context might be, oh, well, like those who conspire, munafiqeen who conspire, whatever it may be. It's just I didn't want to be a munafiq. And again, I thought God is not going to judge me for this. He's not going to like put me in hell for this.
Yeah.
Um, but eventually the double life really started to like take a toll on me because I had to keep up appearances with even like random Muslims around me. I had to be careful about what I said, not even about religion, about what I'm doing this weekend, about what I think about a certain topic, just because I had the feeling that they're judging me, and they did, like when something came out. So yeah, at some point that's when I really lost touch with my faith and I just put it all aside. But eventually that double life really started to take a toll on me.
So that whole thing about the munafiq, it's not just like those conspiring against Islam. Like we're taught as Muslims that anyone can be a munafiq. Like even Omar was constantly asking Muhammad, "Am I a munafiq?" Oh, sorry, not asking Muhammad. He was asking the Sahabi that had the list of the munafiq. Like apparently, there's a list that Muhammad wrote down. These are the munafiq. This
I wonder
guy.
why Omar was paranoid about it. I really
What?
think he was. Like when you look at some of the hadiths, like it's very obvious that this guy was just like he was pushing Muhammad around at certain times, like calling his wives certain things, or So I'm very very aware. Like you see things like that, we can laugh about it, and we can see it from that point of view. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just found it very funny that now I could think of, oh, he was a munafiq. Yeah, that's not haram to think. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I find it funny how people keep calling me munafiq, and I'm like, get it right. I'm murtad. I'm not munafiq. How am I? Like, I'm not even pretending to be Muslim.
Yeah.
I think
You
they're
just
saying they're like
yeah.
backdating my munafiq status to when I was Muslim. I think that's what they're trying to do.
Like at least use the right derogatory term, like
They're saying you were munafiq when you were
yeah.
Muslim, and now you're not Muslim anymore
Yeah,
because you can't.
sometimes I lose track of these conspiracies that they think are plausible, like that you for some reason would be a Muslim and like a munafiq. Anyway, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like as Dolly is saying that's really exhausting to have a double life, and that's kind of the problem of you know being of this double life is created by Islam in the first place, and that's the irony here. The irony is that Islam creates the very problem that it complains about. Nobody would need to be a munafiq if it wasn't for the fact that we are so like Islam is so totalitarian in our lives, and it's so overwhelming and everything has to be centered around Islam. So if you're not totally on in line with all that, you're a munafiq. But that whole problem is, excuse me, created by Islam, because if it wasn't for the fact that Islam was like that, nobody would even care. Like, for example, when I left Islam, I was immediately, like my friend Abdullah Gondal, or many of my friends, so many of my friends, the relationship with the wife is already under, it's in a dilemma, it's in a problematic state now, because if you're not Muslim, then she has to divorce you. So what do? You pretend you're Muslim, or you tell her and she's crying and you break up, or like there's all sorts of problems that are created by the fact that she can't be with a non-Muslim. And if it wasn't for that rule in the first place, then there'd be no problem. There'd be no problem. There wouldn't be a problem with me just not believing, because I don't have to believe, because it doesn't matter, right? But of course, if you're non-Muslim, and you're a child, you do not inherit from your father because you're a disbeliever, and there's all sorts of things. You're divorced from your wife, so it creates, like, don't you agree? It creates this very problem.
Oh yeah, it's a really good point that you brought up, and I want to add to it that it goes deeper than that. It's not just that, because of your situation in life and whatnot. In Islam itself, it is shameful to be boastful about a sin, right? Or to not try to hide it. Like if you did a sin, hide it and try to repent and whatnot. Or if you're going to keep doing it, at least don't do it in public, because then other people might, like you might spread corruption or whatever it may be, like moral corruption in your community. And that um, forces you to be shameful about the most simple, small things that are not okay with Islam. And on top of that, like your community, like you're saying, um, in some situations you can't answer the wrong answer, because you're going to face a lot of consequences, even if you're not at a position where you're married or you have commitments or anything. It's just like, what do you say to a sheikh? Like, no, I don't believe this. He's gonna sit you down for an hour and a half and keep throwing stuff at you, and it may get worse if you at the end be like, no, I just don't. So anyway, yeah, you're absolutely right. This is munafiqeen are created in this sense by Islam, like closeted ex-Muslims, I suppose, or even those who haven't really thought about it. But yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, 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 yeah.